Number 30 Broad Street, 1022. 13 Sergeant 1 Essential. 15 Sergeant 1.
Greetings and welcome back to Simply Sakura's MotoVlog and True Crime Stories. And as Fred Rogers would say, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Well, I do hope you are finding this new Simply Sakura series interesting. I have, though, received quite a few emails giving me kudos for creating something other than another motovlog where I talk about motorcycles or what type of equipment to buy. Quite a few of the subscribers from the emails I got have been really enjoying the stories, and I just wanted to say I really do appreciate the kind words. Also, I wanted to let you know that I moved the camera to the front here, and the reason why is because, well, I should say two things. I finally got my crossbar up at the front of my bike here where I can mount my camera and my phone. So it makes it more of a safety issue for me because, yeah, it was out here on the side over here, but when I was always looking over to my left, I wasn't really paying attention to anything on the left-hand side, and it just made it kind of hard for, keeping myself safe out there. So hopefully you'll enjoy this new view. I think it's a lot easier. I can talk into and leave some notes up on my phone while I'm riding to help make these stories flow a little bit better while I'm riding around. Alright, so let's do this little disclaimer. These crime stories that I will talk about come from research through news articles, police interviews, and court hearings. These stories will be from fact that I have found through many resources throughout the internet. I will have my many personal opinions throughout my stories. They will be my judgments, my viewpoints, or my statements. The stories I will talk about may be sensitive to some of you viewers. They may bring up some type of personal relationship to these stories that can be painful or disagreeable for some of you. I am simply just telling stories, and in no way do I want to cause any uneasiness to any of my subscribers. These are just stories, which are meant for simple discussion, and in no way am I promoting what I'm about to talk about. With that, let's begin with the true crime story of Megan Huntsman. In Pleasant Grove, Utah, Darren West and his family members were cleaning out the garage of a house he once shared with his estranged wife, Megan Huntsman. They had 3 living daughters together, and their youngest stumbled upon a small white box. When she opened it, she found the decomposing body of a newborn baby wrapped in a plastic bag. West immediately called the police. They searched the home and found 6 more dead infants, all in boxes, stashed away in the garage. After questioning, Huntsman admitted to killing the infants between 1996 and 2006. One was stillborn, as confirmed at the autopsy. She was heavily addicted to meth and alcohol at the time, and she killed them because she couldn't afford to raise them. Apparently, bearing, birthing, and killing multiple children was easier than using birth control. Yet, Huntsman did it again and again. So many times, in fact, she lost count. Once, she gave birth in the bathroom while West, his brother and sister-in-law, were in the living room watching TV. After giving birth, she would take the newborns in her hands, then press on their necks with her thumbs until they died. Then she would swaddle them in towels or sweaters, wrap them in plastic garbage bags, and pack them into cardboard boxes. The boxes she would squirrel away amongst the Christmas ornaments, the clothes, and any old toys that were in the couple's garage. Meanwhile, West claimed that he had no idea what was going on. He admitted to knowing about a couple of the pregnancies, but that Huntsman told them that she was just having miscarriages. West said, "I knew she was pregnant, but I was so messed up on freaking drugs, I didn't know what was going on." Well, indeed, West found the first body after serving a 9-year prison sentence for meth. While it may be hard to imagine the belief a husband would be so high that he wouldn't notice his wife's pregnancies or births, it's not impossible, because women throughout history have done this before. Huntsman was what psychologists call a concealer. Simply, a concealer is a woman who hides or denies her pregnancy and then seeks to dispose of the baby after it's born. Usually, concealers are teens who are afraid of their parents finding out, not grown women with access to birth control or abortion centers. For a woman to do this multiple times is really extremely rare. To combat against this, all states, including Utah, have safe haven laws to allow women to drop off unwanted newborns to authorities with no questions asked. The mother can remain anonymous as long as the child has not been subject to any abuse or neglect. Huntsman got pregnant while she was still in high school and married to the baby's father, Darren West. Their first daughter was born around 1993. Huntsman had their second daughter a year later in 1994. During her first 2 pregnancies, their marriage was a total wreck. At some point shortly after the birth of the second child, both West and Huntsman started using drugs to a great degree. Of course, meth was the preferred drug that both West and Huntsman used. It's unknown exactly what years each child was born and killed, but there would have been at least one or more before Huntsman became pregnant with their third daughter in the year 2000. By then, she developed quite an addiction to meth. In August 2006, Darren West pleaded guilty in federal court to 2 counts of possessing chemicals intended to be used in manufacturing meth. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison, but he appealed to them 3 times. Of course, West maintained his innocence and said he never had any intention to manufacturing meth. He claimed that he was offered $200. Did you hear that? $200 to hold a package for a friend. So, remember kids, don't hold anything for a friend. I don't care who they are or how trusted they are. Huntsman claimed that the last baby she put in the garage was born just after West went to prison, and that the baby was stillborn. West's parents owned the home that they were living in, and they made Huntsman a promise to remain faithful while West was away in prison. Well, when they found out that she was having a relationship with a coworker, they told her that she had to leave the home. In 2011, she moved out of the house, and her in-laws said they barely saw her after that. They made sure she knew that she wasn't welcome at that house anymore. Well, her oldest daughter was now 18 years old, and their aunt moved into the house to help take care of the 2 girls. Huntsman lived with her mother for a short time before moving in with her boyfriend in a mobile home park. In April of 2014, West had finished serving his time at a halfway house, and he was planning to move back into the house that his daughter was still living in. West started cleaning out the garage with his daughters and other family members when the youngest daughter opened that small box that would change everything. A search revealed 6 more tiny bodies stored in boxes inside the garage. All were wrapped in cloth and in plastic. Some of the boxes were taped completely shut. Investigators believe that one of the babies had been delivered stillborn. Huntsman was immediately arrested. Huntsman, 39, initially confessed to the police that she had given birth 8 or 9 times between 1996 and 2006. Yeah, you heard me right, 8 or 9 times. Huntsman said she killed them immediately after they were born and put their bodies inside the boxes. The statement said each baby was wrapped in either a towel or a shirt and then placed into a plastic bag. The police later concluded that she was absolutely confused. It had been 14 years since the first murder, and she spent most of that time high on meth. She claimed that one of the babies was stillborn, but the rest she suffocated immediately after giving birth, and then immediately hid the bodies in the garage. Some people question how nobody could have known that she was pregnant 7 times. Huntsman explained that her first 2 daughters were born before her and West had started doing drugs. Her 3rd daughter was after she started doing drugs, but everyone was aware of the pregnancy. From that point on, she made sure to keep her pregnancies at a secret. She purposely wore baggy clothes and secretly gave birth to the kids at home. Huntsman claimed that she was saving the children from a terrible life she would have otherwise given to them. She said that West was not aware of the killings. He knew about 2 of the pregnancies, but she had him convinced that they ended in a miscarriage. The rest of the time, he was either too high or didn't notice, or he was in prison. His daughters never suspected the pregnancies, and the neighbors said it looked like she gained weight and she lost weight several times over the years, but they never suspected she was pregnant either. How can you have a baby and not have evidence and any other people know about it? And you can't plan when a baby is going to come. Just the thought of somebody putting a baby into a box is absolutely heartbreaking. West initially denied being the father of any of the babies found. He claimed that Huntsman must have got pregnant from cheating on him, but the baby's bodies were sent to the Utah Medical Examiner's office for DNA testing, proving that West was the biological father of all 7 babies. Police declined to comment on a motive and what Huntsman said during an interview with the investigators. Kind of wish I could have found some information on this, but I couldn't find anything on this because I was really curious to know what was the big motivation here, or was it the actual drug abuse of meth that was the driving factor? Huntsman was charged with 6 counts of murder, which she pleaded guilty to all of them. Huntsman was sentenced to 6 terms of up to life in prison, the maximum penalty allowed. 3 are to be served consecutively, and 3 are to be served concurrently. Prosecutors called her actions different and callous. To kill babies just because you are too drugged up on meth to take care of them. Huntsman won't be eligible for parole for 49 years, at which time she'll be 89. Anyway, this concludes the story of Megan Huntsman, and I do hope you found it interesting. There are plenty more MotoVlog and True Crime stories coming very soon. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you have any comments, I highly encourage that you leave them down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.